Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really radical shift in how independent musicians manage their careers. We're going to break down the Artist Fan Passport OS and see exactly how artists can finally stop renting space from digital landlords and start building an ecosystem they actually own.
You know, every great career starts by solving a core problem. And for musical artists, it's pretty clear that problem is absolutely not a lack of talent. I mean, every town has artists who can totally move a room. The real villain here? It's an ownership problem. Working creators are constantly expected to just chase fleeting attention on platforms they don't even control, instead of owning the direct relationships with the very people who support them.
So, let's look at how we make that transition from wandering the pure chaos of social media algorithms to actually building a secure, owned home base. For years, we've all been trained to just feed the machine, right? Sending fans to rented platforms. They can change their rules, tweak their algorithms, or hide your posts without any warning whatsoever. Now, those platforms are super useful as doorways for discovery, for sure, but they really shouldn't be the final destination. The whole goal is to bring people from those rented spaces into your own home base, your castle, where you actually own the relationship.
Now, here's the thing. The foundation of this new approach isn't built on clever viral hacks or tricks. It's built on trust. The old music business kind of treated fans like these data points just waiting to be harvested. But the Fan Passport OS recognizes that true sustainable support, it's a two-way street built on mutual respect. You just can't force a real relationship.
The journey across that bridge of trust is actually incredibly simple. Picture this. At a live show, or maybe just hanging by the merch table, a fan scans a simple QR code. Next, they collect a cool digital passport stamp just for being there. And then comes the absolute most crucial step. The fan gets to choose exactly what information they want to share with the artist through a fully permission-based mobile app. The fan holds the permission key the entire time. They can turn that sharing on or flip it right off whenever they please.
So what this permission-based sharing does is ensure fans aren't just getting scooped up as numbers. They're willing partners in building your career. This gives the artist some truly incredible access, but it comes with a pretty strict responsibility. If an artist abuses that trust, say they spam the inbox or treat people just like a sales target, the fan has the ultimate power to simply unfollow and shut off that sharing. And you know what? That's not a weakness in the system. That healthy balance is exactly the point.
Instead of a fan coming to a gig and just walking out the door into the night, this system turns their support into a permanent digital record. It's kind of like a hero's quest. A passport stamp says, "I was there. I'm part of this story." Collecting these stamps creates this beautifully deep, lasting connection. It allows the artist to identify that specific fan, invite them back, and nurture a relationship that survives long after the venue lights come on.
But look, sustaining a career requires actual resources, which brings us to a really vital concept called a revenue moment. Simply put, this is any point where fan attention can become real support. It's all about taking that fleeting, in-the-room attention and turning it into the actual revenue you need to keep your business alive and sustainable.
So here is how that magic actually translates into sustenance. For indie artists, the merch table is basically the real cash register. But far too often, someone buys a shirt, says, "Hey, love the show," and then walks away forever. The Fan Passport OS captures that value right there at the merch table. It turns that single sale into a fan profile, seamlessly translating early attention into ticket sales, memberships, live recordings, and direct offers. You're catching them before they disappear.
Okay, let's dive into the actual tools available for artists to scale up their business. The really brilliant thing here is that the system is designed to be simple enough for an artist who's literally just starting out, but deep enough to support a serious full-time career. It does this through a wonderfully structured series of operating system tiers. So, the operating system is structured into three main stages of growth. We've got Core, Pro, and Premium. Look, independent artists do not need tools priced like they're working with a major label budget. They need reachable tools that actually grow alongside them. This way, you can choose the exact level of functionality your career needs right now.
And perhaps the most astonishing feature of this entire ecosystem is the price of entry. $0. Yep, it is absolutely free for both the artist's core foundation and the fan's mobile app. This is literally the bedrock of the system's mission. Because if we're going to build a real, thriving middle class in the music industry, the doorway into the ecosystem simply cannot be hidden behind another expensive paygate.
With the Core tier, you are pouring the concrete of your digital ecosystem. Without spending a single dime, you're setting up your website home base. And your website isn't just a static bio page anymore. It becomes the actual center of your world. Core gives you basic fan capture tools, QR code essentials, and activity tracking. So you can safely start collecting fans and building a solid foundation that belongs 100% to you.
Then, as your fan base naturally grows and you're ready to turn that activity into reliable revenue, an investment of just $99 a year unlocks the growth layer. This keeps those critical money-making scaling tools totally within reach for working artists. Think of this pro tier as finally opening up your village market. Here, you get some really powerful merch table tools, ticketing support, and fan segmentation. And that last part is huge. It means you can start treating different fans differently. A fan who scans your QR code once just isn't the same as a fan who bought merch, collected 5 stamps, and came to 3 of your shows, right? Pro lets you see those exact differences and reward your truest supporters with unique VIP experiences. Now, for artists who are ready to run their career like a highly serious independent business, $199 a year opens up the ultimate toolkit for scaling up their operations.
Premium is essentially your command center. You are ruling a thriving kingdom at this point. It takes all those scattered pieces of a music career and seamlessly connects them in one single operating system. We're talking AI assistants to help you plan much smarter marketing campaigns. It integrates your touring and live revenue so you know exactly which cities deserve a return trip. It even brings sync and rights awareness right into the ecosystem, helping you protect and develop the long-term value of your catalog, all from one place.
And this brings us to a really crucial takeaway: the rise of a sustainable new music middle class. That phrase, it's not about making every single artist mega famous. It's about making more artists sustainable. It means artists actually making enough money from their own ecosystem to keep creating without constantly being forced to choose between making their art and, just surviving.
Ultimately, it's not about waiting around for an algorithmic lottery ticket to grant you some magical viral moment. This middle class is built by stacking thousands of small, owned interactions into a career you actually control. A QR scan becomes a follow becomes a stamp becomes a reward becomes a merch sale becomes a ticket. Honestly, that is exactly how you build an independent business.
The future of music isn't just about creating more noise, it's about creating real connection. So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. Where are you directing your fans' energy right now, and who really holds the keys to your career? Will you keep waiting for the algorithm's permission, or will you build your own kingdom? Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.